So, chances are you know as an enthusiast who actually builds your car. You know that a Lexus is really just a Toyota, and that an Infiniti is really just a Nissan. But what you might not know is how much of the design, and sometimes even the engineering, is lifted straight from another manufacturer entirely.
What?
Like, not Audi using some Volkswagen parts, but something like Chevrolet stealing from Toyota. Seems kinda crazy, right?
Yeah!
It actually happens way more than you think, and with some of the most expensive cars in the world. And today on Blinker Fluid, we're gonna prove it. Let's get into it. Now, this isn't a new concept. It's called benchmarking, and as the definition states, it's the process of measuring products, services, and processes against those organizations known to be leaders in one or more aspects of their operation. Essentially, in the automotive world, it's a gateway drug to stealing. Every single manufacturer, including your favorite one, is guilty of it. Let me prove it to you. In the 90s, GM bought a couple Lexus engines and reverse engineered them. You know, took them apart to see what makes them tick. And what exactly it is that makes them so darn reliable. Then in the mid-2000s, the boys at Chevy got caught testing a couple Ferrari 458s. They thrashed them around the Milford, Michigan proving grounds, then completely stripped them down to try and nail down how is it these cars handle so good? And what makes that NAV8 sound so fucking amazing? Yeah, it's not just GM though. Kia got caught testing BMWs during development of the Stinger, and Ford Explorers while they were ironing out the wrinkles of the Telluride. Mercedes was spotted pitting their all-new electric car, the EQS, against the Porsche Taycan. And this year alone, Ford engineers have been caught red-handed with cars like the BMW X7, Tesla Model 3, Ram TRX, Audi e-tron, Cadillac Escalade, Jeep Gladiator, and most recently, the C8 Corvette, putting their direct competitors through track days and on-road torture tests, then covertly moving them into the workshop for undisclosed reasons. Wonder what they're up to. Nissan got caught with a couple 911 turbos, which is a story for another time that I've really been wanting to do, because not a lot of people know. But in 2008, when the R35 GTR debuted, it was barely faster, but importantly was faster than a 2008 911 Turbo. So what did Porsche do? Well, in 2009, they unveiled the Turbo S, which was just barely faster than the GTR. I guess it really doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Right, Dom? Anyway, I'm getting off track. In some less exciting news, Hyundai got caught with a VW Polo and a Suzuki Swift. But my absolute favorite of all of these has to be when Honda got caught with their pants down by Porsche during the development of the new NSX. Honda had been out benchmarking their car against some of the greats. Cars like the Audi R8 GT, the McLaren 12C, and the Porsche 911 GT3. Then Porsche issued a recall for the GT3 cars due to incorrectly machined connecting rods. And when Honda brought the car back to Porsche to get it fixed, then the guys at Stuttgart realized whose car it was and left him a little love note. It said, "Good luck, Honda. We'll see you on the other side. From Porsche." They wrote it and stuffed it under the engine cover, knowing Honda's engineers would be in there. Virtually every car built gets benchmarked against similar rivals. But where this starts to get really interesting is when car builders blatantly steal.
And people say we're monkeying around.
And theft is not cool, which brings us to today's sponsor. Has your car ever thrown a check engine light? Yes? Did you stare at it wondering if it was gonna bankrupt you? Or if your mechanic might try and rip you off? Yes? Well, that's why we all need Fixed. It's this super small OBD module that you keep in your car, and simply plug it in and Bluetooth it to your phone anytime that little light of yours decides to make an appearance. We have them in all the ideal cars here, and since right now you can snag one for 67% off, you should too. Click the link in the description below and get one before the deal runs out. And get yourself back to the wonderful sensation of worry-free motoring. And thanks to Fixed for sponsoring today's vid. Now, of course, they have to rework some bits to get around patent laws and try to avoid lawsuits. But the truth is, if you're a car company and you're trying to build the best car you can for a given budget, and someone else is building a better one, of course you're gonna copy the design. It's not always quite so hidden though. Sometimes a manufacturer might just need a certain part that they either A, don't have time to engineer and produce, or B, they can't afford to. So they just buy parts from each other and make them work. For instance, look closely and you'll see the Aston Martin Virage has headlamps ripped straight from an Audi 100. The DB7 has Mazda 3 tail lamps and door handles from a 323. We can see that the poster car and Need for Speed hero of yesteryear, the Jaguar XJ220, shares taillights with the Rover 200 and door mirrors with the Citroen CX. In the 80s, Lotus was heavily involved with Toyota and helped tune their engines. And in return, the Lotus Esprit Mark III stole the tails right off of a Corolla, the legendary AE86 to be exact. The early Elise used headlamps taken from a Renault, and the first Esprit used door handles lifted straight off a Morris Marina. Famously, the McLaren F1 used a reworked engine from the BMW 7 Series, and get this, door mirrors right off a Volkswagen Corrado. Don't think though that it's just the British, because I assure you, it's just not. The Dodge Viper is rocking mirrors from a Mitsubishi 3000 GT, and the front bumper corner lamps are the exact same ones you can find at any auto parts store as a generic replacement for a trailer. The C5 generation Corvette has got the door handles of an Oldsmobile Aurora. And speaking of Oldsmobile, take a look at the most recent version of the big brown UPS box truck. Those headlights? Yeah, straight from an Olds Alero, which is a car that went out of production over 18 years ago. Apparently GM had boxes of the things just laying around. You'll find the HVAC controls of the Rover 45 have upgraded their living arrangements into the Pagani Zonda. Same with the infotainment system on the old Chrysler Sebring, found in the Ferrari California. And most famously, the headlights on the Nissan 300ZX, well, they got an upgrade to first class when Lamborghini decided to fit them to the facelifted version of the Diablo. The boys at Lambo even tried to hide the Nissan script with a little carbon fiber strip, but it didn't really fool anyone. Then there are parts that just get used over and over and over again, like the Hella 4169 lamp, found on the Toyota Corolla, the Ford Think City, several different Fiats, the Pagani Zonda, the Lamborghini Diablo, the Saleen S7, and most tractors built in Europe, to name a few. And all those parts, well, those are just some of the parts that you can actually see. Don't even get me started on the parts orgy that's probably going on under your hood, okay?
Oh, okay.
So the point is this. Some of our most favoriteest things about our favorite cars that make us bleed Ferrari red or Porsche yellow or GM gold might not be their own designs or even parts at all. So next time you find yourself in a furious debate on the internet over which manufacturer is best, remember to give a nod to the competition, because your cars might be much more similar than you might think. Thanks for watching this episode of Blinker Fluid, you keyboard warriors. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this vid, because if you did, then you'll love this vid I did here on turbochargers versus superchargers. I've been Trav, this is Ideal. I'll see you all next time.